Hey there. So this PD is going to be about interactive notebooks using Google Slides. So I love both of these ideas. I love Google Slides and I love the concept of an interactive notebook. So combining two things, it's got to be great, right? I want to talk to you first about slide size. So I don't know if you know this or not, but you can change the size of your Google slide. So normally it's in like presentation view, and I don't ever use slides for presentations anymore. It's just, something I use for everything else. But normally they're about this size, right? They're cut off kind of right here that you would use kind of similar to a PowerPoint, but you can change the size, and I'd like to change it to an 8.5 by 11, which is the size of a piece of paper. And I like to do that because a lot of times we're taking maybe kind of a worksheet that we've done on paper and we're wanting to convert it to something like an interactive notebook. And it's just a size that we're used to, or kids can kind of free write on here and it takes up about the same space as a piece of paper. So first I want to show you how to do this. So you just go to File, and then you go to Page Setup, and then you choose Custom, which I already have. So you choose Custom here, but here are some, other options. And then I just put in 8.5 by 11. Then make sure that says inches. You do have a couple, some other options. So just make sure that that says inches there. And then you would apply that. So I have the instructions there, but just kind of consider that. It gives you a lot more room on the space to put what you need for the kids. And it's just, a great way to set everything up, in my opinion. So something to keep in mind, however, is that every single slide has to be that size. So I believe in PowerPoint, you could do one that was landscape and then one that was horizontal. You cannot do that in Google Slides. For now, they all have to be the same size and they have to be the same orientation. So there are a couple, and we'll get to them in a minute. In our interactive notebook, there are a couple slides that I really kind of wish I could have done in landscape, and I just kind of had to rethink the layout and change them to portrait. So once you do make that decision, it applies to all your slides. So just keep that in mind. So just about interactive notebooks. So why to do them? I love that they're all in the same place. Kids can't lose a piece of paper, can't get torn out. It's always in their Google Drive. First of all, that's why. They're easy for you to check and grade because you can pop into them anytime that you want. In a moment, I'm going to make a suggestion that'll allow you to do that. But so at any time, a kid can't say, well, I forgot my notebook. You can't look at it because you can always see what they're doing, how far they've gotten, and where they are. So I love that about it. And it's quick for you. You don't have to have, 20 dirty notebooks on your desk cluttering up. All you got to do, go into your folder in Google Drive and check them out. Love that. So they're great for quick NTI assignments. If you have an interactive notebook started with a class and we're going to go to NTI, you can just quickly, share 2 or 3 slides with kids with some great, engaging, um, you know, really good activities for them to do that aren't just busy work. They actually are good activities to do. They just happen to be pretty and beautiful and in this super great interactive notebook that you have, right? And then they are engaging, and they can be very rigorous. Like I said, it doesn't have to just be copy and pasting. It can really make them think. It can make them organize. It can make them sort. It can do some, creativity, problem solving. So you can work all of that in there. That's up to you and how you set it up and have the kids do things. But it really is engaging. The cute background helps. It's not just looking at black and white or kind of something boring. The kids like it and it looks really good. And, once they've kind of filled in maybe a graphic organizer that you've given it to them, it looks really good. And so they have kind of that sense of, hey, I've done this and it looks really good. So the how to it is you start with a cute template, and I do a smiley face because, why not? And, And there are cute templates all over the place. I happen to get this one from Canva, which I love. I should be a paid promoter for Canva because I think they're just super awesome. But if you're used to using another platform, Slides Mania has a lot of really cute ones. I know some people use Adobe Spark and they have a lot of cute ones. But just like I said, Canva is just kind of my go-to for all things. Slide Carnival is another one. So find you a cute template and then just kind of build your notebook from that. So what I would do when you're starting your notebook for the very beginning that you're about to share with the kids, I would have a few templates in there already. So if you like, also a Frayer model is one of my favorite. I think it's a great vocabulary tool. So I would definitely have a Frayer model in there. Or if you like a KWL, kind of a template, have one of those in there. So kind of pick a few of your favorite templates and just start with it. Now, you can add more as you go. You just share the new slides out with the kids. You can do that on an Otis link, or you can email it to them and just say, hey, here are 3 slides. I need you to copy and paste them into your interactive notebook. And then there you go. And you can keep giving them updates as you go along. It's very simple to use. It's very simple to update. And it's a great way to have all their notes for your class in one beautiful place. Okay. And then also find templates that are ready to go. Now, I did a little bit of kind of creating, but I didn't create any new templates from scratch. I just saw one and kind of made it fit mine. So there are lots of templates out there. If it doesn't happen to match your theme and you don't have time to make it match your theme, just throw it in and go with it, or have the kids make it pretty if you trust them to do that. And then here are some suggestions that I would give to you to kind of make your interactive notebook experience, a little cleaner. So once you share the slides with a few to get started, right at the very beginning, you're going, okay, kids, first day of school, you're going to be keeping an interactive notebook, maybe for the 9 weeks, maybe for the entire year. It's up to you. But you share it with the kids. You force a copy. So the kids they have their copy of it. Very first thing, my first instruction would be for you to tell them is to rename the interactive notebook that's going to say copy of interactive notebook. And I would have them put their last name, a dash, and then interactive notebook or whatever you want. But I would definitely begin the file name here. So interactive notebooks, I would make them do Gaddis and then a dash and then interactive notebook. And here is why. Because that's the first thing you're going to have them do. In fact, I should have, numbered these. 1, have students rename. 2, students are going to share their notebook back with you. Okay. So when you give them a copy of it, you don't have access to the copy they made. That copy is theirs. Okay. So what you need is access to their copy. So number 1, have students rename it so that their last name and then a dash and an interactive notebook, so everybody is consistent. And then number 2, the kids are going to go over to this yellow share button and share it with you. Now, it's up to you whether they share it in view mode or in edit mode. Either one will give you what you need. I can't anticipate a reason that you would need to edit it unless the kid really messes it up, and then you kind of have to go in and straighten it out for them or something like that, which I don't really see that might happen, but it's possible. So you might just have them give it to you in view mode. That'll allow you to see what they're doing at all times. Okay, so that's up to you. But I would make sure that they share it back with you so you can see it at any time and in real time. So cool. Then the third thing, and this is just for you to do, is if I were you, I would create a folder in your Google Drive by class and by interactive notebook. And then when the kids share it to you, I would just move them to that folder. They're going to be in alphabetical order by students in your class because you have made them rename it by their last name. And then when you're going down your Infinite Campus roster or your Otis grade book and you're giving them, maybe a daily grade or a weekly grade on have you kept your interactive notebook up. It's all in alphabetical order right there with your roster. Just a tiny bit of that housekeeping on the front end, and then you just run with it. And then every time you go through to check, they're all beautifully there in your Google Drive in alphabetical order, and you can do quick checks at any time. So that's my little on the why, how, and what, and kind of explaining if I were doing it, how I would set it up. Of course, obviously it's up to you, but that is what I would do. So we're going to go along. And also, anybody that completes this, I'm going to share with you this that I made. So you can always have this. And then I also will give you a bunch of the templates that I've got. So my next slide is my credit slide. So I started this and had the credits at the end, how we often do. But I thought, you know what, I've got to move this to the beginning, because you have to know now that I begged, borrowed, and stole for this presentation. And it's kind of, it's what we do. You just kind of take something that someone made, and all this is out there for free. I guess I didn't really steal it if it's out there for free, but I just want you to know that I'm not claiming any of these as my original ideas. Okay. I just kind of took what someone else did, add a little bit to it, maybe made it a little prettier in my eyes, and I'm sharing it now with you just to pass it along. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to see something that I have and go, well, I love that idea, but here's how I'm going to use it in my class. Okay, so, but I do want to give credit to those who maybe did create this. I got a lot of this from Matt Miller's Ditch That Textbook. Canva has a lot of, I'll show you in a little bit, but they have a lot of templates that I used. The Noun Project is amazing for little icons. Learning in Hand and Slides Mania. Okay, so that's mainly where I got all of my stuff, and I hope I didn't take from anyone and didn't give them credit. I didn't intend to. So just kind of, I moved the credits to the beginning because it was bothering me a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of go through some ideas now that you could put in your interactive notebook. And like I said, some of these you're going to take and use, and some of them you're never going to have a use for, and that's okay. Just make them your own and do what you need. So I love this one. It's called Caption This. This is a Matt Miller. And what you would do is you would place a picture, for all the kids. So if you're studying, this looks like World War II, and maybe that looks like Patton. I'm not sure about that. So, history people, I apologize if I'm wrong, but I do think it's World War II, maybe Normandy or something like that. So here are the instructions for the kids to use the speech or thought bubbles to show what people in the image are thinking or saying. And then bonus points if you can label the name. So if this is indeed Patton, I would label that as him and maybe get a bonus point. And then hint, you can move the tail of the speech bubble by dragging the yellow dot. Okay, so here is the thing. I've got this kind of big so that you can see it better, but I'm going to back off my zoom a little bit. And off to the side, I have already put in here for the kids in this area around the slide is called a workspace. And it is great for you to put, excuse me, I'm going to pause and gosh, I love the pause button. Okay, so the workspace on the outside is great for you to put things that little extras that don't really need to be on the slide, but kids can use them later. And I've got several that I use, little draggables off to the side so kids can just drag them on and use them. So see, this one is draggable. So let's see, what is this guy thinking right here? Like, what in the world am I doing? And the kids would just right click on that and add text. And then that little cloud becomes a text box. So it's super cool. And the yellow dot or this one, what do you think this guy is saying to his people right now? Maybe a motivational speech. Or you could even be kind of funny and go like, what are these two guys talking about? And the yellow dot here, so if this is kind of in the wrong place, like if you want this off to the side, but you do want to reference these guys, you just grab this dot, look at that, and then pull it, and it moves the dot. So super cool. And all of these do that, right? And you could just put all kinds of captions, like you could put, what's this guy thinking? Or what's this guy? You really can get some good information. And it's a great kind of way for kids to know, like, do they really know what we've been talking about in class? Because they get to kind of, comic book this a little bit. So yeah, there's that. I love it. Also, I know this workspace, these things out here, if you notice, I'm going to go back to my credit slide. They're not here, right? They stick to the slide where you put them, right? So these are the only ones that are going to have these because that's where I put it. So that's pretty cool. And all of them can have different ones. So on this slide, this is movable vocabulary. So you would set up to have, or have the kids, you have this template sent to them. And these are the vocab words down the side. And then you the kids would sort them into categories. And I have some things that can be edited on here, but a lot of things I have moved to the background. So like this movable vocabulary, you could change that to a different word, but this moon is part of my background. This little bird, part of my background. I can click it, see, but it's not moving. I'm dragging and it's not moving. But like some of these, because you might put like things that are red here, right? And then the kids would pull in things that are red. Or you could put personality traits, then kids would pull those in. Whatever you're doing, if you're studying chemistry and you want to do like what's a noble gas and what is a solid, or I don't know what I'm talking about with chemistry or history, obviously. So anyway, those you would choose the categories, and the kids then you could have like tell them on the sides, list all your vocabulary words, one in each box, and then they just drag in. So they could categorize this way, and then this one goes here, this one goes here. This is a great activity, and it can actually, be a higher level activity depending on how you set up your categories and what you use for your vocabulary words. So like I said, it doesn't have to be just kind of busy work for the kids. This can really be some meaningful instruction through interactive notebooks. So I'm going to show you how I did the background on a slide here in a little bit. But that's the movable vocabulary one. And again, I'm using this workspace out to the side. This digital diorama, so, like anything, you can just have kids depict some kind of event or anything that they've learned just by using little pictures. And then, you could either have them put captions under them or just explain to them, or, do a map of things that happen. And I've just got a few out here to the side. And I did get these from the Noun Project. They have thousands of the cutest little icons you have ever seen. And it's kind of fun to see how they can be interpreted in different ways. So if you want to do this but you have kind of specific content area needs for your icons, go to the Noun Project and get these. They're awesome. And like kids would just drag them on here. So let's see, I got on the bus and I went to school, and then I saw all my friends, and we talked about where we wanted to go on vacation. We were going to take a boat and see the fish and then go back home. Okay, so anyway, kids could do something fun like that, or obviously make it educational. But check out the Noun Project for those cute little icons. So this coordinate plane, let's get some math in here. So anyway, the kids can drag these dots. You can give them, some sort of a problem and they have to do slope or something like that. They can just drag the dots to show where it's going. This space out to the side is a great place to put instructions. If you don't have room on your main slide here, it's a great place to put instructions for the kids. So that one is coordinate plane. And again, this graph part is part of my background, so it can't be moved. Even the axis can't be moved. Only the dots are movable, and then this is actually editable out to the side. So this Likert scale, you would give the kids some sort of a prompt, like how the government has handled the COVID pandemic, might be your prompt. And if here's their green dot, if they think it's bad, they put it close to here. If they think, here, if they think it's actually pretty good, they would move it here. But, and that's part of it, kind of fun part, but you gauge where they are. But then they have to support or explain their thought here. And then this is a text box where they would click in here and type why they feel this way about this prompt. Okay, so again, you could get some really good understanding of what the kids are thinking and get some really good discussion going based on this slide. Okay, so I really like that one. And it's so cute, right? So next is an interactive poster. This is something the kids would do, and these are just examples. So you might have them, put a big poster here, or almost make it like newsletter, like is what it looks like to me, kind of an old-fashioned newsletter, where they might put a big picture here and a small one here, and then add some text, a little report of some sort, and they can hyperlink out. Make sure that they know that they can do that through pretty easily through Google Slides. So anyway, just a great place and a placeholder for an interactive poster. So shades of meaning, I thought this one was really neat, and I hadn't seen this activity before. But you start with a vocabulary word, so you would give them a word, and then they go to the thesaurus that is linked here, and then they, like, if the word is, the one that I saw was innovation, and so you look up innovation in the thesaurus, and then the further they think that word is from innovation, they move it. So if they find a word that, like, yeah, that's pretty close to the meaning of the way I understand it, and then so they're moving these vocab words further and further, or, closer to what innovation means, or kind of further away from what innovation means. So I thought that was a pretty neat activity, and I can think of a lot of different ways that you could use that. So I thought that one was just kind of a neat one to use. So sticky note brainstorming is just that. The kids, you got sticky notes over here for them to pull onto for some ideas, and they can make them larger if this is a bigger idea. Obviously, always they can right click and edit text, and that sticky note becomes a text box. They don't have to pull down another text box on top of that. So pretty much any shape that you pull into Google Slides, you can just right click on, edit text, and it becomes a text box right there in it. So just they can pull on. If they need to, make it kind of a cycle, they can easily do that by pulling in the arrows that are, resizable. So if you want thin arrows, they can do that. So just kind of some tools there on the side. And again, you can always use this side for some instructions. Also, gosh, I went to a conference last week and I learned this, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I did not know it before. If I like this shape and I want another one exactly like it, I always would have done Control C, Control V to copy and paste. I just learned 5 days ago that if you have anything selected like this, selected, and do Control D, it will duplicate, and you don't have to do. So instead of copy, paste, 2 actions, Control D will do it. I love that I learned it. I'm mad at myself that I've gone my whole life without knowing it before. So Control D will duplicate. The one little caveat, I guess, about that is you have to have something selected. If you don't, it does some kind of weird, I'll do it so you can see. It pulls up bookmarks. It wants to add whatever you're doing as a bookmark. So you have to have something selected and then do Control D, and it duplicates it. How cool is that? I have used it already probably 200 times since I learned it a week ago. I'm not even exaggerating on that. So anyway, and it's over here because it's just amazing. Control D. So there you go. That one is for free. That doesn't even have anything to do with interactive notebooks. So here is just, it's a title thing, pre-writing. If you don't want to call it brainstorming, if you're teaching English class and you're doing some writing and you want to call it pre-writing, same setup, just a different title. And look, this title is editable, so you can make it whatever you need to be. If you just kind of need a blank sheet for kids to type in, just make them one like this. It's got a cute little bird on it. Okay, so this one I really like. It's, from a draft. Kids can practice their intro, idea, and their conclusion down here. So it's just a neat, pretty way, all organized to kind of for them to gather their thoughts before they write a paper or something like that. Okay. Now I left this one blank on purpose. Okay. Because if I keep going down, here's the engineering process. And then this is the one I made for the writer's notebook. Now, I already admitted I stole all these from Matt Miller. So, scientific method. I thought this one looked really good, right? However, it doesn't go with my theme, so I'm kind of remaking them to match my theme. So I thought it might be helpful for you to see how I did it, and you can decide if this is something that you want to do. Okay, so here it is blank. Now I used Canva, so I'm going to go over to Canva. I think, let me find it. Okay, so here I am in Canva, and this is where I'm doing my creating. So if you see all these, like here's intro, right, idea one, and here is my blank. So what I want to do is turn this one, page 8, into this scientific method. Okay, so I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes and a title, pretty much. Okay, now I'm going to pull this closer because I'm going to keep going back and forth. All right, so here's a great place for my title. So I'm gonna, if you haven't ever used Canva before, I highly recommend it. So I'm just gonna add a text heading. I'm gonna drag it up here. I'm gonna name it scientific method. Keep in mind if you're gonna set up your interactive notebook like I am and kind of do your creative cutesy part in Canva, keep this in mind. Whatever you do in Canva is going to be immovable and not editable. Okay, so what I'm doing now is creating a background for the slide. When I get finished with everything that I want to stay fixed, then in Google Slides, I'm going to add text boxes for things that can be editable. Okay, so if you ever want this to be named anything but scientific method, you don't need to put it in Canva. You need to wait and put it into Google Slides so it's editable later. I hope that makes sense. I've got my favorite fonts here. And what I love about Canva is it recognizes the background I'm using, so it pulls up, all the colors in the palette, and I just picked kind of the one that I want to use right now. So here's scientific method. It's got this cute little line. I'm going to pull a little closer to it. All these things are movable. Look, that's actually a big tree, but it's kind of pulled off. If I want the bird up here by scientific method, I can move my little bird, which I think he's cute. If I want him on this rock, I can move him there. That's a little thing. Here's, look, more trees. I think that's actually the same tree, just bigger, right? So anyway, I love it. So now let's see. I need these. I'm going to do these 3 first to build. So I'm going to add an element and a shape I've been recently used. You can see kind of all the things I've been using. I like this round one, and it pops it in here as just a gray, but I'm going to put it, I think it was kind of like that. And then here's where I changed it, this color. I'll make it like that green color. And I want one more exactly like it. So I'm going to do Control D, my new favorite shortcut, and then get one just like it. And it was really close there. Okay. And I love the guidelines. So you know when it's centered around whatever you're doing. Let's check back. Okay. So I've got these 2. Mine might be a little big. Oh, well, we'll go for it. And then I'm going to do another Control D. I'm going to make this little one over here. Okay. So there is that one. That's pretty close. Okay. So there's those 3. And then like color wise, question, hypothesis, materials. So they're all kind of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and change the color so that they are, for sure like a different idea. I'm just going to pick any of my theme colors over here because they all look good. That's what I love about it. You don't even have to be picky about the colors. You can just throw one in. Now I need kind of a big one here that's taking up half of that, and then a smaller one there. So go back to Canva. I'm going to Control D this one and bring it down to about right there. And then it was taking up kind of that much space, right? Control D that one again, make it a little smaller for that space. I'm going to change the color really quickly and get some blue in there. And then go back here and double check. And then I need one more down here for my conclusion. That's about like these. So I'm going to Control D that one, bring it down here for my conclusion. Go visit my bird for a second. Hello, birdie. Okay, and then I'm going to change that color to that. Okay, so that's kind of my template really quickly with my cute little boxes behind it. And now I'm going to look and see. Now, question, hypothesis, these kind of titles for the boxes to me are permanent fixtures, right? Because you're always going to want question to be in the box. What is not permanent, obviously, is replace this text, right? So all of these I'm going to put in my template and they're going to be in the background. So they are immovable by the student. Okay. So now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to add a text box. And I already forgot what it's called. Question. So I'm just going to type question in there. And I love in Canva, if you're in here, this little arrow is what you move with. Because sometimes when I try to move, I resize and I can't see where it's going. And I love just grabbing it by that handle. I'm going to change it to my document font and color. I like the little light color. I think it shows up better. Make it a little smaller. Okay, so the question is going to go in that box. I'm going to click on it, whoops, and duplicate it, Control D. I'm going to put something over here. This is materials. And that's a little light. I'm just going to change that font to a little darker. I'm going to move it to the corner. Okay. Oh, I did it again. I bookmarked it. I do that all the time now. I'm using my new Control D tool. Okay. Hypothesis. And I'm going to go back to the lighter color on that one. And Control D. Pull down here. Procedure. Make that a little bigger. All right, I'm going to Control D that. I think this is probably observations. And I know that this is boring watching me do this, but I just want you to see the steps I go through to make it look like it does on the other side. It took a little bit of time. I think it's worth it. And, it's doable. Nothing I'm doing is that it's that difficult to do. It just takes a little bit of time. Control D. And then what's the last one? Conclusion. Okay, so I think for me, that's all of the permanent fixtures, and it's okay with me if all this is in the background. Okay, so what I would do now in Canva is I would download this. So here is download as, not as the video, you kind of have to watch that, as I do a PNG for a picture, and I'm choosing only this one. This is page 8. There it is, and I'm gonna download it. And it's going. Here it goes. And then notice that it pops up here in my downloads. That's important for just a second. Now I'm going to go back to no, that's not mine. Here's mine. Back to my slide. So this, I want to be, that we just made. So I'm going to go to background here where it says change background. I'm going to go to choose image. And because it just downloaded, it's super handy. It is right here. I'm just going to click it and drag it up here and let go. And click done, and voila, that is my new background. It is not editable by students. I'm clicking, I can't do any, right? I think that's just awesome, and so they can't mess with your stuff very much. but I'm not quite finished because I do want to put in some text boxes for them. Now, if you have older students, they are quite capable of adding a text box, but I just go ahead and do it for them just in case, if it keeps 5 kids from asking you the same question, then it's worth it to me just to do it. If you want to, you can go ahead and press enter a few times and it makes the text box the size that you want. I'm doing Control D. You can do that here also. I'm moving this over, just making it a little smaller, right? Control D again. Same thing, just giving them all a place to type like that. Control D, duplicate. And there's that. 2 more times. Control D. Oopsie. I missed the little handle in Canva that I was talking about. And pull that over. And then 1 more time. Control D. Down here for my conclusion. There. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is ready to go to the students. Okay? So if you don't have it included in your original interactive notebook, you could copy this whole slide and just share it with the students, and then they would paste it to theirs right in order wherever you told them to put it. So I think it's just a great way. And like I said, you don't have to have everything in your notebook ready when you send it out. I might have just a couple templates on there just to get started, but then the rest you can add as you go. If you come across a great one and you want to add it later, you can easily do that. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down through here and share some more that I've got in here for you. But for the most part, this is ready to go and you can be as creative as you want to. So the engineering process, I have one here. Again, a lot of this is fixed, which is what I kind of went over with you guys just a little bit ago. But this, replace with your text, right? Gives a place for kids to type. Here is one. Oh, I love Frayer models. They're just one of my favorite things. You would put the word here, or you could put a title here if you wanted to, and then the kids would put a definition here, an example. They could paste an image here, an antonym here. So it's just a cute way to do a Frayer model. You could, a SWOT analysis is another one that I saw that you could set up kind of like this. You could just change the words on it. Here's a KWL. These are great if you don't use them. What do I know is the K. What I wonder is the W. What have I learned is the L. So you would tell the kids, okay, do a KWL on disaster preparedness or tornadoes or sharks or whatever you're talking about, and they would type their topic here and then go, okay, this is what I know, this is what I wonder, and then you come back in a day or two and go, now fill out what you've actually learned. Okay, so this is a great one, and like I said, it's just pretty. This is kind of like a Venn diagram a little bit with a sorting activity. So categorize each term by placing it in the category. So you would give the kids the category. This is editable. This is editable. This is not, because both isn't going to change. See how I did that? You would also probably say, okay, use these 10 terms and do one of these. And so the kids then would type their term and then drag it to the category. If it applies to both categories, it would go there. And if it goes to that category. So again, just kind of a neat little idea on categorizing terms in like a Venn diagram-ish way. So I love this cause and effect one. You would give them the cause, or have them put a cause and effect thing. And here's cute little birds again. And then they would type their effects down here. Okay. And then I really liked this one also. So you might give them one event and they list 3 causes and 3 effects. So you might say, the Revolutionary War, and what were the causes of the war? What are some effects of the war? So just kind of a great little organizer for that. So that's kind of all the templates that I have in this one ready to go. I'm going to share this with you later, but I wanted to share with you some of the places that I found some of these. Okay, so if you, like I said, you don't have to create the wheel. It's probably already created. You just have to find it. So I'm going to show you first Like, I love Canva. I don't know if I told you that before. I love Canva. So if you are in Canva, and by the way, teachers can, you get a free account, the free pro account, which is amazing. And now you can add classes to your free teacher account. You can enroll your students in your Canva class, and then they can create and share things with you right there. And then they, by extension, also get the free pro account. Super duper. Do it. I love it. All right. So anyway, I'm at Canva. I just searched for graphic organizers, and y'all look, hundreds of them pop up. Anything that you want. And this is, what I did. I just kind of took what other people's ideas and I just made them cute in my template that I chose. So here's all kinds of different ideas for you. So again, you don't have to come up with this. Here's a little cheeseburger essay outline. There I saw some cute cycles in here. Here's the butterfly biology. Here's a brainstorming template. So really, problem and solution. Some great ideas in here, and this is Canva. They're all beautiful, and you just pick the ones that you like. And if you don't like the template they have, just take their ideas and plop them into your template. That's pretty much what I did. But I started with one of their templates also, and they have a whole lot of templates right there. So that's one way. Another, I don't know if I've got Slides Mania. Is awesome. So you can go to Slides Mania, and you can search for their graphic organizers too. I already did. You can see I already searched for it once. Okay. It'll pop up in a second. And I actually did get some from this site earlier. Let me click on that. Okay, here it is. And you just slide through here. Here's a bunch of templates, graphic organizers, and manipulatives. Here's a great, just Frayer model. Here's a KWL. Here's a true or false. I thought this one was kind of neat. You could put statements, and are they true or are they false, and the kids just drag them. This is another one. Again, these are, would be draggable. Here is main idea, supporting details, just kind of some basic ones. Same thing, just in a different, and this one has a summary section at the bottom. There's your Venn diagram. Again, it's just some ideas on what you can do. Actually, this is the one that I kind of stole to put into ours. I stole cause and effect also, and whoopsie. Here's another one. I liked this one, or the event. This is the one I took with cause and effect. So these are all on Slides Mania, and there are probably a bunch more on there. So I got those from there, and then I love Canva. And then anytime you Google, here, I'll just Google graphic organizers. And you probably have your favorites already that you can pop into a notebook for kids. I like to just go to images and kind of see if here's that hamburger one. So there are a bunch in here, and you just get some ideas and then draw you some shapes and boxes and put it all together. So I hope this has been helpful. The sky's the limit, honestly, with these interactive notebooks. I wish they had been a thing when I was in school, because I just love them. And if I were a kid, I would love to get in here and type my ideas and, keep my notes in here. Oh, that was another thing. You can just have a blank page for free writing notes. If you're presenting in class, you're doing a lecture and the kids are taking notes, just have them add a blank. Here, I'll show you. I'm just clicking on slide 4. I'm going to the plus sign to add a new slide. I'm adding a blank slide, and just have them draw a text box and just start typing their notes. As you're talking, they can add bullets on, point 1, and then it's all right here. They can add little graphics to it if they want to, but all their notes are right here in their notebook. It's a great study tool. And then plus anything else that you give them extra, just pop it into a slide and, have it here for them. So they can do free writing notes if they want to. I'm going to leave that in here just so you can remember the idea. But any of these that I have, you obviously take them. I took them from somebody else. But if you need help setting them up, I'm happy to help you do that. Just let me know what you need. But I hope this is helpful, and I hope you try an interactive notebook. And if you do, I would love to see it. I'm not even kidding. I would love to see it. So please let me know. If y'all need anything, just let me know. Thanks.